What is up, everyone? We are back today with another video covering a post called "It Works, Imagination is the True Reality." Let's get it. A good concept to help understand this has been listening to Neville Goddard's lectures. The world is a mere shadow of the true reality, which lies within your imagination. Your awareness is the light, and your idea of self is object. These two make up the shadow of this world. Okay, so what does this all mean? Simply put, if you don't like your shadow, you don't wrestle, argue, or invest time trying to change it, for it's just a shadow, the effect of light hitting an object. So you can do one of two things. Rearrange how the light, awareness, hits the object, self-concept, thus changing the shadow of your world, or change the object completely, new self-concept, thus changing the shadow altogether. Either way, you have control of all three when you see from this angle. You are the light, you are the object, and you are the shadow. Bring loving light to your desires, and they will take form from the power of life within you. And there is a photo attached here of an art display, an art installation on a wall where there are beams of light being shot up, passing over objects which are creating shadows, which is creating an image on the wall. And I can leave a link to this in the description so you guys can check that out. So we have a few comments here. I've been saying this for a while now. If a 3D object casts a 2D shadow, would a 4D object not cast a 3D shadow? And are we not those 3D shadows? That's very interesting. Finally, vindication. Someone else has come to a similar conclusion. Thank you for this excellent post. Also worth noting, lights act as a camera and the shadow acts as the output. Get closer to the light or camera, the shadow gets bigger. Go further away from the light, the shadow gets smaller. I think the human body and brain exist in the third and fourth dimension, and the human mind and soul exist in the fourth and fifth dimensions. Interesting take right there. So we have another comment here. After reading Michio Kaku's Hyperspace, I seriously think that our higher self is in 4D/5D, and our reality is in 3D is a reflection of that. Like the body/brain keeps us grounded or plugged here, but our reality is a different ballgame. So we have a long post here that's looks like a story. And it looks like people are vibing with this story here. So maybe I'll just go ahead and read this. So unfortunately, the moderators declined my post despite it being perfectly in alignment with Neville's teachings. My conception of us is that we are God, one being instantiated across time and warped back on its own timeline in a matrix of some kind. Here is the story I wrote upon understanding the law. God sits on his throne, licking an ice cream, perfectly content. A man falls before him, bowing down. Lord, why do you let us suffer? God looks up for a moment. Do you not realize who you are? He asks. What do you mean, Lord? Replies the man. Do you not know who I am? You are Lord our God, answers the man. Do you look up at the mirror and ask yourself, why? Why do you let the present circumstances happen? God asks. Sometimes, says the man. Then you are a fool. You ask yourself why you do the things you do. Surely you must know, else you would not do them. The man looks at God, trying to comprehend his word. God takes another lick of his ice cream. You act without reason, so you will have none. The man becomes incensed at this. I demand a reason. Then give yourself one, God calmly replies. Truly, you have the power. Do you know why I am called God and why the devil is named as such? The man thinks for a moment, says, no, please tell me. It's a translation that has not been updated since it was made. I am God, good. Devil is evil, de evil. I am the best possible version of you. The devil is the worst. You are my son. You are the one in between. I don't understand, the man replied. Your actions, your reason, they create me, God continued. I let you suffer, for if you did not, you would not have become me. If yourself just 5 years ago had not the things so done, would they have become you? Are you not just the result of your past? The man's eyes lit up immediately. You and I, he exclaimed. We are one, God finished. You don't intervene because you know it all works out in the end. You sit there, watch over your past. You needn't change a thing. The man continues. Correct, said God. And each time you make new decisions. Each time it works out. So ask of me what you will, ask of yourself what you will, and know that it is done. For your will and your reason create me, and I am you. The man thought about this for a moment. You are my future. So whatever I decide is true, it becomes so. If you truly believe and act as if it is so, you will make it such, God replied. Walk in faith always, and you shall never tire. Say to this mountain, come to me, and believe it shall come. The man then thanked God for his time and returned to his earthly life, knowing that he had the ultimate power, that there is no other creator, there is no conflict. It was all him all along. He realized that all his past actions are created who he is right now, and the circumstances around him. He realized that all others too were once him, or that he would eventually become them. He realized that his future is God, his future is good, God is his future, good is his future. God is the culmination of himself. He is the uncreated. He is the paradox and the solution. He is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. He is you, he is I, he is the all and the one and the none. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know what you guys think about this story. I mean, it's just a story. It's a story illustrating the same thing that Neville talks about, which is that you are, like, God is within you. The power of God is within you, and you have the power to, like they're saying, walk in faith, act as if. And that is, I guess, illustrating that point. Back to the main post here, the shadow, rearrange how the light awareness hits the object self-concept, thus changing the shadow your world. I like the analogy of that this person said in their the first comment I read here about the 3D object cast a 2D shadow. Would a 4D object not cast a 3D shadow? And so if you want to think of your imagination as being the 4D or part of the 4D, then it would make sense using that logic that by changing your imagination, you are then having an effect on the 3D. And that makes perfect sense to me. And the light being awareness, I like that as well, because that does make sense. When you shine light, awareness is like a light being shined in a dark, empty room. If you shine light on something, now you are putting your awareness on that. You're putting your awareness on what you want. And if you liken your life, or here he says the object, then you are, as being you, or your life consists of the room, right? But your object is this object within the room, and the shadows on the walls are going to then change based off of you, how you shine your light on the object, saying, that is to say, how you shine your awareness on your self-concept. But again, you know, I think this is breaking things into 3 different things, when really there's, in my opinion, the 2 things, it could be 2. Like the awareness of your self-concept is one thing. Are you aware of things being easy? Are you aware of the universe being friendly? Are you aware of living in a reality where things work out for you, where things tend to work out well for you? Or are you constantly ruminating and putting your attention on the things that haven't worked out well for you? That's going to create your dominating thought pattern. It's going to create a rhythm that you are then emanating and pulsating out based on what we know about science and about quantum physics. We are like radio stations. And if you continually, whatever signal you're sending out is going to be reflected back. So that is to say that the 4D signal, if you want to liken it using this shadow analogy and shadow metaphor, you are the signal, or the light that you are emitting is casting shadows. And depending on which direction you're sending the light and how you're focusing that awareness and on what things in the room, you are generating different shadows. And it's an interesting metaphor. Personally, I resonate more with the radio frequency analogy, because I think that we are akin to radio signals. And we are transmitting these energies, transmitting in the 4D, our imagination, our awareness, what is in our awareness, what is dominating our awareness, out into the 4D, which is then having an effect on the 3D. And yeah, the shadow, it does make sense, but it's also like we get that information back to us because it's like we're a sending and receiving station of thought. That is essentially what we are. And when we change the way that we perceive things, our self-concept and our concept of the world itself, then we get a change. And it doesn't happen instantly. The world is like a mirror. It takes time for that mirror to reflect what it is that we are emitting out. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys thought about this analogy. I like it. I do think, though, that it sort of divides these things into three things when I think that it can be almost easier to grasp just by having two things, which is what is the awareness of your self-concept, and then what is the reflection in the 3D. With that being said, guys, much love. Hit me with a like, hit me with a subscribe if you have not done so already, and I will see you in the next video.